Harlem during the Harlem Renaissance, and to share with you the gay and lesbian musicians that I encountered in the music that they were talking about and singing about. And hello, Pastor. Thanks for joining us. And so I wanted to start out and talk to you about my early life. So my father, Elridge Esterfield, he used to sing the song, oh Hannah, why has the sun gone down on me? I used to ask him, why, Daddy, did you sing that? It was because my mom, Lord rest her soul, Lena, she passed while giving birth to me. And although I never met her, I always feel it with me. And so my father used to clean a convenience store in Virginia, where we grew up. And one day, a friend of his told him that this great migration was happening to the north and that we should go. And so we went. And in 1925, we wound up in Harlem, the Mecca. My father decided that we should go to Harlem instead of Chicago or Detroit or Buffalo. Lord knows I don't like Buffalo. So we got there and we moved into a one-bedroom apartment that was being lived in by one other family off 137th Street. And it was just me and my father, and at first I started cleaning at a convenience store, and my father got a job working at the meat packing plant, being a janitor. Funny how he went from cleaning in the south to cleaning in the north. But my father never made any complaints. He just cleaned and did what he had to do. And so one day while I was cleaning at this convenience store, this tall, dark, really handsome young man named Anton Baxter came in. And he started a conversation with me, and I just had to continue conversing back with him. And he told me that he wanted to check out this new place called Maggie's. And he wanted me to go with him that night. So I did, and when I walked in, it was amazing. The feel of it, the energy, the people. There were whites and colors in there. The music I wasn't even playing, I just couldn't help myself. It was amazing. There was an artist there called Bessie Smith. She was singing a couple of songs while she was in town. One of them was, It's Dirty But Good. I didn't know what it meant, but I got a hold of a lyric, and it started off with, I know a woman that don't like men. The way they do is a crying sin. It's dirty but good. Oh yes, it's dirty but good. There ain't much difference, it's just dirty but good. They sang another song called Foolish Man Blues. And one of the lines she said was, there's two things got me puzzled. There's two things I don't understand. That's a mannish acting woman and a skipping, twisting, woman-acting man. She was a bisexual woman, very strong, as she maneuvered the crowd after her song selections. And so Anton introduced me to Miss Maggie, and I liked her, and she thought I was a passer. Because of my light skin, I could easily be acceptable to both colors and to the white folk that came into the club, so she hired me. It was nice. Although she told me her real name was Bertha, and that if I called her Bertha, she'd cut me. Nobody wants to come to a club called Bertha. That's why she calls it Maggie's. And so I worked for Maggie's for a little bit. And one night, while I was coming home from work, there was a rent party being thrown. A lot of rent parties were happening around my neighborhood at that time. People couldn't make rent, so they would throw parties, charge admission. And in the morning, rent wasn't paid. My friend over here, Mr. Timothy Jones, strolling down my block looking all lost as can be, and I said, Mister, what are you doing? Quiet. I said he was looking for this rent party. He was a good white boy from the Greenwich Village, as it were, and he was classically trained in the musical ways, and life was about, and so I said, why not? I'll show you where this rent party is. So we got in there, and he introduced himself, and immediately he was called Tim Tim. That's who he was. Tim Tim had a nice chocolate man that night, and soon after, Tim Tim was coming to Harlem very often. Every now and again I would clean Maggie's in the morning to get ready for that night, and I would bring Tim Tim with me. Maggie liked to call him Pinky. That name. So back to Mr. Anton. We hung out a lot. He was the son of a millionaire. Apparently his father contributed an idea to make the Model T work better, faster. I don't know. He never spoke of it. I never asked questions. I just knew he had money, had his own place, and I could crash every now and again if I wanted to. Our first night, he took me to the musical The Blackbirds of 1928 with Adelaide Hall and Bill Bojangles Robinson. Adelaide sang this beautiful song, I Can't Give You Anything But Love. She had a voice on my night. Quite magical. Just an all-Negro musical. It was fascinating to see people of color performing. And people of color sitting in the crowd, not just in the nosebleed, or as most people like to call it, nigga heaven. Anton also took me to Niggerati Manor. I got to meet literary greats Wallace Thurman, Langston Hughes, and Richard Bruce Newton. They were highly classified and sophisticated men at the time. I didn't have that much education, but I wanted to learn what these men were doing and men of color and how they were breaking into the world. And so Nugent gave me his book, his short story, Smoke, Jade, and Lilies, which talks about, dare I say, homoeroticism and interracial hookups, as it were. You could do such things in Harlem. You could be with anybody you wanted. Didn't matter, as long as you kept it within Harlem. That's why so many came to Harlem to experience such things, to experience such vices as they were. I just saw it as freedom. And then Langston Hughes, he had a poem called Poem 2. And in it he wrote, I love my friend. But that wasn't the important part. The important part was that he had initiated to a man called S.S. Ferdinand Smith, who was a merchant seaman who would come in out of town every now and again. And Langston, too, was homosexual. And then I read about Thurman, Black as a Berry, and Infant of Spring. And he talked about his real-life experiences but put them into fiction. You speak about what you know, that's what he told me. This matter where men would come share literary ideas, I thought it was fascinating. And then Anton took me to Alexander Gumby's bookstore. He was a man that collected images and photos and autographs and paper clippings from men like Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, and George Washington Carver. And told one Sterling reminded of his scrapbooks, and men of fine taste would go there, and I'd try to spend every now and again as best I could. And we would go and we would meet with all these different gays and lesbians, and they would talk about how they wanted to change the world. Very hard, so what more could we do? And finally, he took me to Alila Walker's house. She was the only daughter of Madam C.J. Walker, who, of course, created that fine hair product. Miss Alila loved to throw parties. She loved to have the gays and lesbians. And I remember one night when we went, I took Tim Tim with me, and Gladys Benton was there, and she boy working at a gay establishment. But again, education is a lot, and I didn't really have that much, but I tried. While I was at the convenience store, I would read the newspapers to try to learn how to really read, to understand what was happening around me. But all good things do come to an end. Anton had big dreams of traveling the world, and he wanted me to go with him. Like I said, I didn't have much education, but I knew that outside of Harlem, being gay and being with somebody wasn't appropriate. So we read this book called Nigga Heaven, written by a white man called Carl Van Vechten. It's about two light-skinned folks who fall for each other, but in the end they don't make it. He called himself a reverse Petty John, who was a dark-skinned, uneducated man, but he saw himself as a dark-skinned, educated man, and I was his reverse Lashka, the female character that's sophisticated in the world traveling. That was me. Anton left and he didn't really say goodbye, so not really sure what happened to him. So won't take any more of your time. I just finished up with my last night at Maggie's. Turns out the next day the COF, whatever they were, came in and shut Maggie's down. It was a thing back in the day. They didn't like what you was doing, and they knew that homosexual activity was happening. They come in and shut you down. That's what happened with Miss Maggie's. So she was having a big spectacle that night at a club, and I asked her if I could sing a song that Tim and I wrote. I worked for us for a while, so she said, sure, why not? Why not? No big wigs came in and sang. That night we had George Hanna and Ma Rainey. George Hanna, he was a flaming little man, but of course he never really came out. No one really knew much about him. But he sang two songs that night, Boy in the Boat and Freakish Man Blues. And Boy in the Boat, he talked about when you see two women walking hand in hand, just look them over and try to understand. They'll go to these parties, have their lights down low. Only those parties where women can go. You think I'm lying? Just ask Pac Ann. Too many abroad. Took many abroad for many a man. And then Freakish Man Blues, which he really talked about himself. Call me a freakish man, what more was there to do? Just because she said I was strange, that didn't make it true. Am I grinding to that? I sent her. Just because she said I was strange didn't make it true. I sent her to the mill to have her coffee ground because my wheel was broke and my grinder could not be found. There was a time when I was alone, my freakish ways to see, but they're so common now. You get one in every day of the week. Had a strange feeling this morning. I swear I've had it all day. I'll wake up one of those mornings. That feeling will be here to stay. Ma Rainey, the mother of blues. She came in with a present and owned it as she did. She was another lesbian. Coming in. All the song of the night was Prove It On Me Blues. She said, went out last night, had a great big fight. Everything seemed to go wrong. I looked up to my surprise, the gal I was with was gone. They say I do it, ain't nobody caught me. Sure got to prove it on me. Went out last night with a crowd of my friends. They must have been women, cause I don't like no men. I went out last night with a crowd of my friends. It must have been women, cause I don't like no men. Wearing my clothes just like a band. Talk to the girls just like any old man. Cause they say I do it, ain't nobody caught me. Sure got to prove it on me. So after they sang, I took a deep breath and I said, come on, Tim, let's sing our song. Yes, Tim, that is your cue. he went away. I knew a boy, but he went away. Taught to see in the world, but left his love here to stay. I knew a boy, but he went away. I knew a boy, but he went away. Looked into his lover's eyes as they reminiscently shared dreams and ideas from night until day. I knew a boy, but he went away. Go on, Jim. No longer do I see that boy, the one with the pretty eyes, left no